Good evening, everyone. This meeting of the Essex County Board of County Commissioners is hereby called to order. This meeting is being conducted remotely. The public is able to view this meeting via live stream on Facebook and YouTube. A link for the live stream is posted on the Commissioner website. The public is able to participate and provide public comment via phone. To all participating in this meeting, please be mindful to put your microphone on mute until speaking. Additionally, please identify yourself by putting your name on the record each time before you speak. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Cooper, absent. Oh, Commissioner Cooper is here. Commissioner Gill.
Here.
Commissioner Graham.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Luciano. Absent. Commissioner Mercado.
Here.
Commissioner Siebel.
Here.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares.
Here.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Hey, we will omit the salute to the flag since we are conducting this meeting remotely. However, let's pause for a moment of silence for all of those who've lost their lives due to COVID, and also to those who are being displaced and have lost their lives in Ukraine and anywhere else there's war and strife going on around the world. So please have a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Mr. President, there are none.
Let's proceed to the topics of discussion. Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Mr. President, there are none.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to the public comment session. Today's meeting is a combined conference/board meeting, and we will vote on every item on the agenda. However, since we are meeting remotely, the public had an opportunity to submit questions and comments for consideration and can also call in. At this portion of the meeting, the clerk will have additional instructions for our callers. Madam Clerk.
If you're calling in, you will be acknowledged to speak in the order that your call was received. Emails received for public comment will be read after the calls are completed. At this time, our public information officer will announce the callers so they can state their comment or question and be reminded you have 3 minutes to speak. Please do not have any devices on, laptops, phones, or any other electronic devices while calling in. At this time, we're only accepting calls pertaining to agenda items. Please note you will have an opportunity to call back later in the meeting at the designated time for public comment session on non-agenda items. Chalo Malumba, our public information office, will begin our public comment session now.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Chalo Malumba, Public Information Officer for the Essex County Board of Commissioners. We have one caller waiting to speak. It is Lisa Douglas. Ms. Douglas, you have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name for the record. You may begin.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Lisa Maddox Douglas. I am the president for the Public Employee Supervisors Union. I stand before you to ask that you carefully review the budget that is submitted here. We currently experience some issues within the DFAB administration, whereby we did request by an over request a list of the line item budgets and salaries. To our astonishment, and we were certainly astonished when we learned that there were 59 vacancies within the Division of Family Assistance and Benefits. This is unconscionable. What this means is that we do not have the appropriate staff to process benefits for the very vulnerable population that we service within the County of Essex. This also means that individuals and families, that they're not eating. So we have some concerns about that. We have a great group of individuals who are employed by the Division of Family Assistance and Benefits, and they look to service their constituents and to service their customers, and they're not able to do so if we don't have the appropriate staff. Once again, my name is Lisa Maddox Douglas, and I represent the supervisory staff within the Public Employees and Supervisors Union for Division of Family Assistance and Benefits. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we do not have any other callers waiting to speak at this time.
Thank you. Mr. President, I did not receive any emails or correspondence for public comment on agenda items.
Okay, Madam Clerk, as is our standard procedure, we will answer Ms. Douglas in writing and make sure it gets to the proper office so that they can respond to her.
Will do.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to ordinances on introduction and first reading. Do we have any ordinances or resolutions, introduction and first reading?
Yes, Mr. President, we have 3 ordinance and 2 resolutions.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to ordinance number 1 and we'll read it into the record at a later time. Ordinance number 1, Mr. Jackson.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. Ordinance number 1 is an ordinance naming the animal hospital at Essex County Turtleback Zoo, the Essex County Barry H. Ostrowski Animal Shelter Welfare Center, in honor of Barry H. Ostrowski, President and CEO of RWJ Barnabas Health. The animal hospital was opened in 2005, is a 6,000 square foot building that provides care and medical treatment to animals at the Turtleback Zoo Hospital. It's essential to achieving our recent accreditation from the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, which sets the gold standard for animal care. Mr. Ostrowski, as you know, is chairman, CEO of RWJ Barnabas Health. He joined in 1991 as executive vice president and general counsel, and has been instrumental in a number of activities in and around the zoo. And we're happy to recommend that the facility be named after him.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Polavecchio.
Nothing to add.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Commissioners, questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Sebo and a second from Commissioner Vice President Pomaris to introduce ordinance number 1. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Sebo.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado.
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Gill.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper. Absent Commissioner Vice President Pomares.
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolution number 2, which is from the Administration and Finance, and it will be read into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Muhammad will go through these items. This item, I should say.
Good evening, Hussam Mohammed, County Treasurer. This resolution is to exceed the county tax levy to establish a cap bank. This will be used only if needed in future years. We can use it for the next 3 years as needed after obtaining authorization from the board. So this is not an actual fund we put aside, it's just an authorization to establish the cap bank. And I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio.
I don't have any questions.
McInerney?
No questions on this. As was said, just a statement said by the treasurer, we have this is just merely an authorization to increase appropriations in amounts that we could have increased appropriations by this year in the future.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Mercado and a second from Commissioner Luciano to introduce resolution number 2. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cooper. Absent. Commissioner Gill.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado.
Yes.
Commissioner Siebel.
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares.
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will move out of order to resolution number 1 through 6 in section K, which are from the Office of Management and Budget and Temporary Emergency Appropriations, and they will be read into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Treasurer Mohammed will handle these items as well.
Good evening, Hussam Mohammed, County Treasurer. Resolution number 1 is to authorize the standards for anticipated COVID-19 affected revenue. We are using the average of the funds realized in the year 2019 and 2020 and 2021 for the Sheriff Department and for motor vehicle fines to be able to anticipate these amounts in the budget. And I'm here for any question.
Okay, next.
Next, this resolution number 2 is to authorize the County Board of Taxation to exceed the county 2020 request cap, which is 2%. And resolution number 3 is to exceed the cap for the county clerk, which is also 2%. And resolution number 4 is to insert the American Rescue Plan for year 2021, which is 77 million. The funds is not received yet. It will be received around June of 2022. Resolution number 5 is for grant insertion for the improvement and construction of Willisburg Park for the Department of Public Works of $3 million. And resolution number 6 is also for grant insertion for comprehensive county funding allocation in amount of $1,565,806.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio.
I'll defer to Mr. McInerney on these.
Mr. McInerney.
I have no questions on any of these insertions.
In that case, I have a motion from Commissioner. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Mr. President, I have just a quick, for a point of understanding for item 2 and 3. Is that specific to the department or the county-wide, Mr. McInerney?
Sorry, what was the question?
Item 2 and item 3, is that specific for the office, like those individual offices?
Yeah, what it is, it's a statutory, what's happened is here, the state came in and said that they wanted the constitutional office to have revenue streams to spend money, at least in accordance with the amount of money they bring in on those revenue streams. So there's a calculation that has to be done. So it's specific to each one of those departments.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Johnson and a second from Commissioner Graham to take resolutions 1 through 6 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Siebel.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado.
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham.
Yes.
Commissioner Gill.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper.
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares.
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move back to the ordinance and resolutions on introduction and first reading. Resolution number 3, Section H, Introduction of the County Budget. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, sir. Treasurer Mohammed will handle this one as well.
Good evening, Hussam Mohammed, County Treasurer. This is the resolution to introduce the 2022 county budget. This is for the first time in so many years we will be having a zero tax increase. And I'm here for any questions.
Mr. Paulavecchio.
Feel like I should say something. Mr. President, just to recall that the board went through extensive budget hearings, heard from each and every department on this. I think the headline, of course, is what Mr. Mohammed said and about the zero increase, but I have nothing else to say.
Mr. McInerney.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key to this. This is the introduction. It's not adoption. So what this means is that this will go to Trenton now for review by the state. They'll have some comments, if any, which we will have to address. Also, keep in mind that any changes that exceed certain limitations, statutory limitations in those line items that we're approving in the introduced budget would have to come back to the Board of Freeholders for a ordinance to amend. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Thank
Mr.
you,
President. Mr.
Commissioner
President,
Sebo.
is it true that no tax increase is the first time in the history of Essex County?
I can address that, Mr. President. No, that's not correct.
How often has that happened? And
It
how long
happened-
ago?
Well, there's responsible no tax increase budgets and there's irresponsible no tax increase budgets. I've experienced irresponsible no tax increase budgets many years ago. I'm not going to say under which administration, but there was a point in time where there was no tax increases put in the budget, so much so that the Board of Freeholders had to increase taxes because of the fact that the no increase would put the county in financial jeopardy. But we're sitting on a fairly substantial cash surplus where we can afford not to do a tax increase, and so that is the major difference. I've been here 35 years, so I would say that this is one of the first times that I've seen a responsible no tax increase go through.
That's basically what I was asking. Thank you. I appreciate that because this really is a no tax increase and I think it's valid for the entire Essex County. Nobody's trying to get away with anything here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. If I might, Mr. President, just keep in mind that our tax increases, even when there is a tax increases in the last few years, have been no more than like 0.5%. I think it was the prior year, maybe a point here or there, but we've got one of the lowest historical tax increases over the last, maybe 20 years.
And do you know how it's compared to the other counties now, or is it too early to tell?
No, there's at the introduction, when the board is handed the budget, which we're done by the administration every year, there's a schedule that shows where Essex County stands among other counties. Of course, you have to weigh that with the volume of responsibilities that Essex has in an urban, given our urban environments, over those counties, let's say like a Gloucester County that may have a lesser of a tax increase, but we are down in the top 3 of the lowest tax increases, but certainly the lowest of any county of any size.
Very good. So we're down at the bottom 3. Thanks. I'm happy to hear that.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Gill and a second from Commissioner Cooper. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson,
Yes.
so moved. Uh, Mr. President,
Yes.
I have to read a statement.
Please do.
This is the county budget notice. County budget of the County of Essex County for the fiscal year 2022. Be it resolved that the following statements of revenues and appropriations shall constitute the county budget for the year 2022. Be it further resolved that the said budget will be published in the Star Ledger in the issue of March 15, 2022. The Board of County Commissioners of the County of Essex does hereby approve the following budget for the year 2022. Notice is hereby given that the budget and tax resolution was approved by the County Commissioners of the County of Essex on March 9th, 2022. A hearing on the budget and tax resolution will be held at the Hall of Records on April the 6th, 2022, 5 p.m., at which time and place objections to said budget and tax resolutions for the year 2022 may be presented by the taxpayer or other interested parties. That completes the statement, Mr. President.
He's on mute. Sorry about that. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions for listing purposes only?
Hello?
Madam Clerk?
You're on mute, Madam Clerk.
Hello? Oh,
Madam Clerk, you're on mute.
I'm taking turns with you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
No, Mr. President. We have none.
Okay. Do we have any ordinances or resolution on second reading and public hearing tonight?
No, Mr. President.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we will move to resolution number 7 through 10, which are from the Division of Youth Services, and they will be read into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, sir. Ward Barcliffe and Ms. Massey will address this item. Thank you.
okay.
Good evening, Warden Barcliffe, Essex County. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, Ms. Massey, principal of the Essex County Juvenile Detention Center.
Good evening.
Am I supposed?
No, please put your
provides
mute.
education.
Please put your phones on mute.
Okay.
Good evening, and this is Ward Barcliffe, Essex County Juvenile Detention Center. Essex Regional Educational Service Commission provides educational services to our students here who are housed at the Essex County Juvenile Detention Center. Ms. Massey, who is our school president, is here on the line and available to answer any questions or concerns that you have in reference to the contract.
I mean, school principal. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I heard plates or something. My name is Miss Massey. I'm the principal of the of Sojourn High School at the Essex County Juvenile Detention Center. We provide, as Mr. Warden Barcliffe said, we provide the education for the students there. It's a high school mostly. The kids, of course, they're enrolled in grades 9 through 12, but occasionally we might get some middle school students around 3 or 4. The instruction is tailored towards their individual needs. We work with the districts to make sure they're receiving the required courses and are on the correct track for graduation. During the pandemic, the students received virtual instruction, and as the restrictions lifted, they were slowly staggered back into in-person instruction. And right now, we're doing a hybrid combination. So the kids are receiving virtual and in-person. Thank you.
Okay, next.
Mr. Barclay?
My apologies. Mr. Martinez will do items 8 through 10.
Okay, so let me stop right here then. On number 7, Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, Mr. President.
Okay, Mr. McInerney,
No, sir, I have no questions.
commissioners? Okay, let's move to number 8 then.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez.
You said he's on.
Jason, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, you got 8 through 10.
Yes. Sorry, good afternoon. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Jason Martinez. I'm the breaking up. Good afternoon, commissioners. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I'm sorry about that. I'm on the highway. My name is Jason Martinez. I'm the director of Youth Services Commission. Today, the Division of Youth Services is requesting the approval of the State Community Partnership sub-grant agreements in the amount of $492,497. This grant will fund 3 juvenile programs, which includes 8 prevention programs, 1 diversion program, 1 detention alternative program, 2 disposition programs, and 1 reentry program. Thank you. Any questions?
Next.
Number 9, Jason.
Okay. Again, the Division of Youth Services is requesting the approval of the contract with the Superior Court Family Division for a substance abuse evaluator, which is a staff position in the amount of $100,237. This staff position conducts a chemical dispensary assessments and provide treatment for and recommendations for youth. Enforces court orders for both assessment and ongoing case management of the juvenile status and the needs. Thank you.
You can just proceed with number 10.
We have one more.
Jason, you got number 10 as well.
Yeah, sorry about that. Now, last one, the Division of Youth Services Commission is requesting the approval contract for the Superior Court Family Division for a telephone notification. This is also a staff position. The telephone notification makes calls daily to remind juveniles and parents and guardians of their next court date prior to meeting. The telephone notification reduces the need for a bench warrant to be issued due to the juvenile's failure to appear in the court or be placed in a detention. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio,
No questions.
Mr. McInerney,
No questions, Mr. President.
commissioners, any questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Cooper and a second from Commissioner Gill to take 7 through 10 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes to number 7 and a no vote, meaning I'm abstaining on number 8, 9, and 10.
okay? Commissioner Luciano,
Yes to all.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolution number 11, which is from the Division of Community Health. It will be read into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Mr. President, this is a letter, acceptance letter from the state of New Jersey to apply for a municipal alliance grant from the state in the amount of $343,414. This is for the state's 2023 fiscal year. The grant will cover July 1, 22 to 6/30/23. And this grant provides for prevention and education services to the citizens of Essex County for alcohol and drug abuse.
That is correct, but 23 is.
Just want to do 11. Okay. Did you want to do 11 and 12? I apologize.
No, I just have 11. We'll do them separate.
Okay.
Mr. Polavecchio,
No questions on this.
Mr. McInerney,
No questions.
commissioners, any questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Graham and a second from Commissioner Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cooper,
This was for 11, 12, and 13, right?
No, that was just 11.
Just 11. All right. 11, yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolution number 12, which is from the Board of Taxation, and it will be read into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Mr. President, this is a contract with Samuel Klein and Company for the auditing services for the Board of Taxation. It was a publicly advertised fair and open RFP. This was the sole respondent. This is actually the same vendor as last year. Last year's contract was $23,850, which was fully expended. And this is paid through from operating funds, the amount of $25,000.
Mr. Polavecchio.
No questions, Mr. President.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Commissioners,
Mr.
any
President?
questions or comments?
Mr.
Commissioner
President,
Siebel.
thank you. Samuel Klein and Company does excellent work for Essex County, and I'm very happy they're going to be given this contract. Thank you.
Any other comments, commissioners, or questions? I have one. They've been doing this work for decades, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Mr. McInerney?
Well, this particular contract, I questioned the last time we saw it. It was because typically there's a tax equalization chart that has to be done, and I was under the impression Samuel Klein was doing it. We also have a contract with George Labrizzi in the tax and Board of Taxation Department. and there's two responsibilities that have to done. George does one, and Samuel Klein does the other. But I had a question on this going back, I think the last time the contract came up.
Yeah, I recall. I recall that. I'm just wondering how they could do this. So it must not be a lot of work, or is it a lot of work? Because they seem to charge the same thing over and over.
Again, I have to know who was doing the table. Joe Picardo was doing the table of equalization for years. It's a very complicated, again, I don't know if this is it, so I'm a little hesitant to say, but I know that he's been associated with the tax department since Samuel Klein's been here, I think. And his work has been invaluable over there in terms of, making sure that each town is appropriately taxed the amount they should be. As I said, he was doing the tax equalization formula. If a municipality doesn't get revalued, there has to be a factor put in for that. And that creates all sorts of, so somebody can actually be given over 100% of the allocation that, they normally would have been because they haven't had a reval in a while. Very complicated. So I particularly don't have any problems with this.
Understood. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Luciano and a second from Commissioner Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolutions 13 through 18, which are from the Department of Parks. It will be read to the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Zates will handle these items.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. Number 13 is a contract award with Brian Hoskins Ford, the sole responsive bidder, for one new 2022 Ford Explorer sports utility vehicle, not to exceed $38,990. As mentioned, this was the only bidder for this particular vehicle, which will be used in the department. Number 14 is a contract change order with Northeast Roof Maintenance for roofing services, adding an amount not to exceed $50,410. As the board knows, the Essex County Park System is the oldest park system in the entire U.S., and with that comes some costly repairs. Specifically, this contract will be addressing the repairs of the roof over at the greenhouse in Branch Brook, as well as the roller rink in Branch Brook. Number 15 is a contract change order with McCluskey Mechanical Contractors for HVAC services, amount not to exceed $65,740. And again, with the park system being as old as it is, this will address HVAC issues over at the arena, the environmental center, and Kipps Castle. Number 16 is a request for approval of an emergency declaration of payments to Railroad Construction Company due to Turtleback Zoo train track repairs, amount not to exceed $60,750. Specifically, this was due to some water erosion and flooding issues we experienced on the loop of the track closest to the South Mountain, the Orange Reservoir. These were drainage repairs, and we're happy to report that the train is now back up and running. Number 17 is authorization from the Essex County Recreation Open Space Trust Fund to approve architectural design for the Branch Brook Park Community Center building in the amount not to exceed $562,500. Specifically, number 17 is the funding source for number 19, which the Department of Public Works will go into detail when that item comes up later in the agenda. And finally, number 18 is an allocation of an amount not to exceed $643,000 from the Essex County Recreation Open Space Trust Fund for architectural and engineering design for the rehabilitation of the Parks Administration Building. And again, specifically, this is for number 20 that Public Works will address specifically when that item arises. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Mr. Zates. Mr. Polavecchio.
Yes, Mr. Zates, just a question on 13 in the vehicle that's been bid. Is that a replacement vehicle for something?
Josh Bates, Essex County Park. Yes, it is a replacement vehicle. We will be putting one vehicle, we'll either auction it or just not use it anymore, but it will be the newest vehicle in the fleet. And then every other vehicle will, I guess you would say, take a step down.
Thanks, Josh.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Sebo.
thank you. Number 16 through 20 were discussed at the Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board meeting, and we discussed them at length. I think it's really important that the Parks Administration building is going to have a complete rehabilitation. If you've been in that building lately, it is very, very outdated and in many ways needs rehabilitation so badly. So I am so pleased that this building is going to finally get some attention that it needs. And if you haven't seen the building, you ought to go down and take a look at it and see what's doing there, because it's going to be redone in a fabulous way. And I can't wait to see how it finally turns out. So I'm very happy that this is on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sebo. Any other commissioners, any questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Sebo and a second from Commissioner Vice President Pomaris to take resolutions 13 through 18 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Siebel,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarter,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please be reminded we will conduct the public comment session for non-agenda items at the end of the meeting. Any other call-ins? Clerk, can you give them the call-in information, please?
Yes, if you're calling in, the number is 855-756-7520. Use the password 79260#. After entering the password, listen for the prompt to press 0 to be placed in the queue to speak during the meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolutions 19 through 23 and added starter number 49, which are from the Department of Public Works, and we will read them into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Mr. President, Mr. Antonio will handle these items.
Good evening. David Antonio, Department of Public Works. Item number 19 is a contract award to DeCara Rubino in the amount of $562,500 to provide architectural services to design the new Branchbrook Park Community Center building. DeCara Rubino's proposal was the highest rated of the 13 submitted. This contract will be for 12 months. Allison Schroka has joined us this evening to discuss the proposed scope of work, as well as answer any questions the board may have. Allison, if you're on the phone, could you please speak?
Yes, hi. I'm here, Allison Soroka, principal of the Rubino Architects. I am also here with founding principal Jerry Rubino on the phone.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Pleasure to be with you tonight. As indicated, DeCara Rubino Architects is a 30-person architectural and interior design firm. We're located in Wayne. The firm has been established since 1994. Over the last 28 years, the majority of our work has been in the field of educational work in terms of K-12 schools and colleges, municipal and county work. Some of the projects that we have completed in the county, Essex, some people may be familiar with the Donald M. Payne School of Technology. We were the architects on that project. We just completed last year for the School of Technology, the addition and renovations to the West Caldwell campus. Currently in the construction on Newark Tech. And a few years ago, we did complete a contract with the County of Essex for a major roof replacement at its juvenile detention center. And we're looking forward to working on this project. We're very excited about it.
Thank you very much.
David Antonio, Department of Public Works. Item number 20 is a contract award to Paulitz, Sokolowski, and Sartor, PS&S, to provide architectural services to design the rehabilitation of the Parks Administrative Building in Newark in the amount of $643,000. PS&S's proposal was the highest rated of the 10 received, and this will be a 12-month contract. This evening, we have Michael Cohen from PS&S. He's on the phone, and he's ready to discuss the scope of work, talk about the company, and answer any questions. Michael, if you're available, please.
Thank you very much, David. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Michael Cohen, and I'm a Senior Vice President with PS&S. PS&S is an architectural, engineering, and environmental consulting firm. We're actually celebrating our 60th year this year. We've done projects throughout the area, many most in New Jersey, and quite a few in Essex County over the last 25 or 30 years. We've worked on a number of parks. We just finished a couple of playgrounds in Grover Cleveland Park and Vailsburg Park. We've worked on both Riverfront Park and Riverbank Park in Newark. We've done work in several of the buildings. We're just finishing up a boiler replacement in the County Economic Development Center in East Orange. And we've done some projects in the Hall of Records and a number of other buildings throughout the county. So we've enjoyed our time in Essex County, but I must say this project we are looking forward to more than any other. As Commissioner Siebold mentioned, this building is in dire need of work, but maybe more importantly, it's a beautiful historic building. It's more than 100 years old. It is a great example of Second Renaissance Revival style architecture. And because it's a historic building, we will be following the state regulations with regard to renovations to such a building. We also have a cultural resources department in our company that specializes in this, and they will in effect be leading this effort, working with the state's Office of Historic Preservation. And everything we do while improving the layout of the building, the systems of the building, everything from the mechanical and electrical systems to the elevator, it'll all have to be done and will be done in accordance with state regulations for historic buildings. So we are looking forward to this and think and hope in the end you'll all be very pleased with the end result. And again, the building deserves this attention that we intend to give it. Thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Siebold.
thank you. I'm really excited about both buildings being done, but I'm anxious to know, when will the administration building be completed?
Well, I can only speak to kind of step one. It is our intent to have the design done in the next 6 to 8 months to get through the process. And again, as I mentioned, we need to work with the state on this, the Historic Preservation Office. So there's a little bit of an unknown there as far as getting through that. I don't want to call it bureaucracy. I'll just call it procedure. But our hope is to get done with that in the next 6 to 8 months, and then immediately go out to bid. You know, it's about 20,000 square feet. It's not a huge space, so we don't expect construction to take terribly long. And again, our hope is maybe 18 months, it can all be done. But given today's times, and as we all know, material and labor, very tough. So who knows, 6-8 months from now, what things will be like. But our hope is that we can get this moving and done as fast as possible.
Thank you. You answered my question well, and I was concerned about the historic part of the building, and I know that's going to take some time to get it all worked out. But I'm anxious to see what happens as we move forward. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next.
David Antonio, Department of Public Works. Item number 21 is a contract award to Smith Sandy Asphalt Construction. This will be the undertaking of the 2021 CDBG roadway resurfacing program. Smith Sandy's bid was the lowest responsive and responsible of the 6 submitted. The resurfacing limits will be on South Orange Avenue between Speedway Avenue to Stuyvesant Avenue in Newark. The contract will not exceed $940,442, nor will it exceed 180 days. Mike Bobo of Smith Sandy has also joined us this evening to talk about the firm, the project, and obviously answer any questions. Michael, are you on the phone with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
It's all yours.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Michael Vobel, and I am filling in for Mr. Joseph Smith, who was unable to be here this evening. Smith Sunday has been in business for 76 years. Our client base is both private and public. The public sector, we have worked with the New Jersey DOT, several counties, including Bergen, Essex, Passaic, and Union, as well as many cities throughout the state, such as Jersey City, Elizabeth, and Newark. Our recent work with Essex County, actually, we go back, as far as I know, I think we've had a contract with Essex County every year since 2005, and possibly even longer than that. We are a union shop. Our laborers are locals 472. Our operators are local 825. Our truckers are Teamsters local 560. Of the 88 full-time employees at the end of the last construction season, a little over 12% were Essex County residents. The project itself is basically a milling and paving operation with concrete and drainage improvements along 14 roadways throughout the county. There's approximately 460,000 square yards of milling, and we will be laying down 56,000 tons of an asphalt surface course. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
David Antonio, Department of Public Works. Item number 22 is a contract award to Helicopter Applicators Incorporated to provide mosquito surveillance and control aerial rentals in an amount not to exceed $300,000 for a period not to exceed 24 months. This firm was the sole responsive and responsible bidder. The department's Division of Mosquito Control typically use aerial spraying over the Passaic River Basin in West Essex to apply larvicide as part of its mosquito control program. Item number 23 is a contract award to Applied Landscaping, the lowest bidder of the 4 received, to undertake the Bellsburg Synthetic Turf Athletic Fields, rubberized track surface, and other improvements in the amount not to exceed $7,541,723. Some of the project highlights include a new 8-lane state-of-the-art rubberized running track, a new synthetic turf football/soccer field, new synthetic turf baseball field, a new synthetic softball field, new covered dugouts, vinyl coated chain link fencing, replacing of the synthetic turf at the Little League field, placing timber guide rail along Erden Highway, renovating all existing pathways, installing new benches, trash receptacles throughout the park, installing landscaping, athletic field lighting, new scoreboards, just to name some of the improvements. But we do have Phil Piero and Paul Marino from Applied Landscaping on the phone, who can do a lot more detail on the improvements proposed, as well as answer any questions. So Phil, Paul, if you guys are on the phone, all yours.
Good, Paul, if you guys can hear me, I guess, Paul, if you want to speak first, give a little background about the company, and then I could go into a little bit more detail on the project. Paul, can you hear us? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I know Paul's on the phone, but so I'll go into the details on the project a little bit. I mean, he pretty much covered everything. It's a full-size running track, new construction. We're converting all the existing fields and grass areas to 4 full-size synthetic turf fields, a softball field, a baseball field, a multi-purpose field. It involves the milling and paving of this perimeter walkways, some new asphalt walkways, some concrete flat work in the middle as a plaza. All the fields will be fully lit with state-of-the-art Musco LED lighting. And the turf that will be deployed down is Shaw Sports Turf. I guess I should mention that this is not our first experience in Essex County. Of lately, we've been part of, since 2019, the Watsessing Lawn Bowling Project, the Riverfront Park turf replacement, the Branchbrook Park turf replacement, Weequahic baseball field for Rutgers Newark, the Weequahic Little League field, which we've just recently completed. And that's just to name a few of the last we've done over the 2-year period. But Paul's been in business at Applied Landscape Technologies for going on more than 30 years. And I know he's worked in Essex County parks for a good portion of that, if not all of them. So we have a long-standing relationship with the park and county, not only in the synthetic turf fields, but in the overall general contracting, landscaping, site work, drainage, you name it. And this is pretty much all we do. We're athletic field contractors. So I think that covers it. He pretty much covered everything else on the project specifically for this one. I guess I can answer any questions if anybody has them. Unless Paul's been able to get off of mute, would you like to elaborate, Paul? Can you hear us? Okay. Well,
I think Paul wants
that pretty
to
much
talk.
covers it.
So I have a question. Yeah, where you guys located? Is that Paul?
We're located in Montville, New Jersey, so at the bottom of 280.
Right. And my other question is, do you employ any Essex County residents?
I believe we do. I'd have to go back and check who on the books is, but we are a union shop, so Local 825 and 472 makes up our workforce. I can get back to you if you're interested to know, but I do believe we hire Essex County people. For this scale of the project, we'll be...
If you're with 472, I know you already have Essex County residents employed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next.
David Antonio, Department of Public Works. Item number 49 is a contract award to Morton Salt and Atlantic Salt to furnish and deliver rock salt on a as-needed basis to the 4 county salt storage facilities. This will be a 24-month contract and will not exceed $5 million. And that is it for the Department of Public Works.
All right. Mr. Palavecchio?
No questions, sir.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Commissioners, questions or comments?
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes. This VP Pomaris.
Thank you. I just want to commend the administration for their hiring of a firm that has the sensitivity to work with historic structures. As we probably heard from me once or twice, how much we value that preservation. And of course, as the architect outlined, the building that he noted had some significant detail that makes it a fine example. So I think it's very important that we use this opportunity to applaud their efforts for being able to do that and to work with the State Historic Preservation Office to ensure that these buildings, which do, of course, serve a great purpose every day in terms of operations, but also serve as community landmarks. And I think that would be important to highlight. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Sebo.
I would just like to thank David for making a great presentation for all these various resolutions. Thank you, David.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Vice President Pomares and a second from Commissioner Sebo to take resolutions 19 through 23 and 49 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Sebo,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolutions 24 through and 25, which are from the Office of the Sheriff, and we'll read them into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. Deputy County Administrator Coltrane will handle these items.
Mr. President, number 24 is a competitive contract with Millennium Strategies for grant consulting for the sheriff. It's a 36-month contract, an amount not to exceed $96,000. This contract was for 5 years, and they expended $56,380. Number 25 is with the Office of the Sheriff, contract to Atlantic Tactical to purchase Winchester brand ammunition, amount not to exceed $47,836.30. And this is in cooperation and coordination with the board's ordinance of 2015.
Thank you, Mr. Coltrane. Mr. Polavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
The question that I did have on this was answered by the administration from the leadership meeting, and the volume of grants that this firm has handled since they've been with the county, which is pretty sizable. So.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Commissioner Mercado and a second from Commissioner Luciano to take resolutions 24 and 25 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Sebo,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper, absent Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolution 26 through 48, which are all commendations and memoriams and proclamation resolutions, and they will be read into the record at a later time. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner Vice President Pomares.
Thank you, sir. If our colleague Commissioner Cooper would be so willing, I'd like to be included in number 48, which is the resolution in support of the National Vietnam War Veterans Day, but perhaps a step further by acclamation, which I think would probably be more appropriate for the board if Commissioner Cooper would be so willing, and the members of the board.
Absolutely. That sounds
Thank
like
you.
a wonderful recommendation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay. So I have any other questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Hearing none.
can I just make a comment from the corner here?
Oh, absolutely, Mr. Polavecchio.
I would hate to miss the opportunity to give a commissioner's goodbye to my colleague and counterpart over on the administration side, Courtney Gassion. She started off the day with some nice applause, so I just wanted to wish her well. She's been a tremendous help for me over her many years of work with the county. So I just want to wish her well and thank her, and hope she enjoys this new phase of her career.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President?
Can we get through this motion? Let's get and then we can get to the comments.
Yes, I was going to bring that to your attention, Mr. President.
So I have a motion from Commissioner Johnson and a second from Commissioner Graham to take resolutions 26 through 48 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Sebo, I got you.
Okay,
Commissioner Siebel,
yes.
Commissioner Mercado,
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Johnson, you're on mute.
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice President Pomares,
Yes.
Commissioner President Richardson.
Yes,
So moved.
thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any added starters? Commissioner, I'm going to get you. We're coming. Comment session is coming, I promise you. Courtney
Okay,
is not going anywhere until the actual end of the meeting. We got her trapped in. She's locked in. We got her.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, you asked if there were any additional added starters?
Yes.
Mr. President, there are none.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, let's move to report of board committees. Commissioners, do we have any reports? Board committees. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, we do. Yes. First and foremost, I want to thank the administration and I want to thank my colleagues for a very positive meeting that we had yesterday in reference to the penal committee. And I'm hoping that moving forward that we will all work together to improve that, because as you all know, we all have been getting all kinds of complaints and everything about what's going on up there at the facility. I am glad that we are all coming together and trying to work some of it out. Will we work all of it out? No, but at least let's do some things that can help better the lives and the working environment for our officers, and plus make it better for our inmates there in the facility. So I'm very grateful for that meeting, and I will be doing it again in another 3 months. I'm going to do it quarterly so that we can continue to stay on the issues that need to be done. And I thank my colleagues, most of all, that had great input in that meeting yesterday. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Okay. Are there any legislative reports? Any written communications? Any unfinished business? New business? All right, we got one more thing to do, Commissioner Sebo, then we're gonna get to those comments. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to the public comment session on non-agenda items. However, since we are meeting remotely, the public had an opportunity to submit questions and comments for consideration. They also have the opportunity to call in. Madam Clerk.
You will be acknowledged to speak in the order that your call was received. Emails received for public comment will be read after the calls are completed. At this time, our public information officer will announce callers so they can state their comment or question. Be reminded, you will have 3 minutes to speak. Please do not have any electronic devices on, laptops, phones, when you're calling in. At this time, we are accepting only calls pertaining to non-agenda items. Chalo Malumba, our public information officer, will begin our public session comment now.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Chalo Malumba, Public Information Officer for the Board of Commissioners. We have one caller waiting to speak, excuse me. The caller is Pamela McKelvey. Ms. McKelvey, you have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name for the record. You may begin.
Hello,
You may begin.
could you guys
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Pamela McElvin. I'm with the Palm Block Association, a nonprofit organization, and I also advocate for Vailsburg Park. I want to thank Joe D for actually taking the time to give us what we needed, but I do have one problem, and I'm really surprised and hurt by, and that's with Commissioner Rufus. I've been trying to contact you ever since January with emails, calls to talk to you in reference of giving us some type of guidance or what's the next step that we should take to help bring this park together. And to this day, nothing. So my question too, because I did hear everything that they going to do into the park, but me and Joe D back in July of 2020 did a walkthrough Vailsburg Park. And one of the things that he said he was going to also do is the renovation of the bathroom that sits in the play area. And at the meeting that we had in December the 7th of last year, he also mentioned that it would be 2 years before he redo, and my question is why 2 years before he do the senior cafe? Now, I don't know, would like to know, when is the renovation going to start? Why is it going to take 2 years for him to do the cafe? And he said he's going to put some type of splash water park or something in the play area also. And I know these things wasn't mentioned. Also with a speed, issue. He said he was going to do a study, which this was December that he said it, but he was going to start in March. That traffic in that area is horrendous. 3 schools in that area. If you come to Vailsburg Park, you can actually see how dangerous that area is because kids are playing chicken with the cars because you got Parkway South and North. But you have elementary school, pre-K school, and a high school in that area. So there's no type of crossing, no lights, no anything for the kids to cross by the park or it's the Parkway side. This is the reason why I've been trying to contact.
Ms. McKelvey.
Okay, thank you.
You have 30 seconds to go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. This is one of the reasons that I wanted to talk or set up a meeting with Commissioner Rufus, because I had a lot of the communities coming out, a lot of them want to get involved, a lot of them want to do something, and coaches and things, so we can have programs put in place for the ending of the renovation. And until, like I said, to this day, I haven't received any type of comeback. So I'm okay. My main question is, when is the renovation going to start? And I just want to know these items that I mentioned that Joe had said he was going to do, because he definitely requested that Dan get 2 desired. Okay, thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Mr. President, can I answer to some of this? And not in a negative.
Commissioner Johnson.
First of all, those bathrooms and all was done about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. The ones over by the basketball courts, if those are the ones that you're talking about, because that's where the restrooms are. We had a problem last year just trying to get someone to work it. And we were trying to get somebody from the community to work it so that it would be less of a hassle with, some of the young people and everything else, because they would be familiar with it. And secondly, you were at the meeting, ma'am, when we were there with Joe, and Joe D, our county executive, did say that they were going to start this work in April, depending on what us commissioners do as far as passing this stuff before then. So, I haven't had nobody tell me that you've tried to call me, but here's my cell phone number if you're still on, 973-207-6314, because the work at Vailsburg Park is going to go on anyway. It's going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. I hope you got that number. If not, you can call the offices, and since he gave it out, I'm sure somebody will give it to you if you didn't get a copy.
Mr. President, we do not have any other callers waiting to speak.
Thank you so much. Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, I did not receive any emails or written correspondence for non-agenda items.
Thank you so much. Now we'll open it up to Commissioner comment session. Commissioner Sebo, the floor is
Thank you
yours.
very much. Finally, I just wanted to continue on Michael Parlavecchio's statement. This morning, the county executive had a breakfast for Courtney Gassion, and hundreds of people showed up to say goodbye to our wonderful county council. I mean, she has been so absolutely terrific all these years, and I want to really wish her the very best. She's taking on an important job in Hudson County for the healthcare system. They run 3 hospitals, and she is going to be their attorney. So she's got a lot of work ahead of her. And Courtney, I want to congratulate you for everything you did for Essex County. You were absolutely wonderful, and you followed through on everything so carefully and precisely. And I want to wish you the very best for your future. But you'll miss Essex County, even though you're in Hudson County. Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Commissioner Johnson.
Courtney, I wanted to thank you too for being there and being that legal part to help out so that I wouldn't cross the line. and especially Jackson, Mr. Jackson, and our very own Michael Parlavecchio. I'm glad that you were there to give me a nudge. Y'all didn't know it, but Michael would give me a little text to say, hey, stay within the boundaries. I said, okay. But thank y'all very much for participating with it also.
Commissioner Mercado.
Yes, Courtney, you've led the county council's office with grace, leadership, and devotion. So just on behalf of all of us, every time you've come before us, it's been professional, it's been absolute, and we've always wondered how you've done it by yourself with the few staff that you have, but you did, and you never complained. So just on our behalf, thank you for all you do, and wherever you go, you will be just fine, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Commissioner Gill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Courtney, it's been a pleasure to have been able to work with you over these last many years. It was a real honor and privilege when you and I collaborated together on the ordinance which created that independent committee that was significant, and it would not have happened without many meetings and hours of work that you put in on that on behalf of the administration. So if I didn't thank you enough then, thank you for sure. And looking forward, to your future success. I know you'll have a lot of success. Actually, Hudson County is going to make Essex County tame. So if you need, we got your back. If anybody wants to come over there and straighten anybody out over there. But in all seriousness, I'm sorry I couldn't have been there with you this morning. I wish I could have made it, but I just wasn't able to based on some work commitments. But just again, it's been an honor and privilege to be able to have worked with you, to see all the success that you helped all of us on this board have, this administration have, and wish you nothing but the best of luck. So take care.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, if I may.
VP.
Thank you. Courtney, your work speaks for itself, so I don't have to go over that. Everyone obviously has been the beneficiary of your working time here. I hear, as a Hudson County guy, I know you're going to be fine going to Hudson County, but I'm very pleased that at one of those hospitals is very near and dear to me because it's where my 3 kids were born and where my father-in-law, who now lives with us, so we're caretakers for him. He spent almost 40 years there as a surgeon and left on the top of his game as a director of surgery. And so I also had a couple of visits there in the ER. Okay. And but they're so, coming from a medical family, me excluded, of course, I know that you're going to be a tremendous asset to any of these hospitals and anywhere you go, frankly. And like Brendan, regrettably, my caretaking abilities kept me from going today to share that in person. But I do wish you the best, and I know that I speak for everybody here when we say the door is always open for you to come here, and whatever we can do for you, we certainly owe it to you. So thank you very much, and Godspeed.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Well, I did say my farewells, and this morning I was able to make it, fortunately. But again, I just want to wish you well, and they're getting the best of the best of the best. The information and the legal advice that they're going to get is going to be second to none. They may not always like it, but they won't get in trouble, that's for sure. So you've been a serious asset, very positive here. And like I said this morning, you will be missed.
Thank you very much. If I may, Mr. President, I would like to just take a moment and thank you and Commissioner Siebold for being at the event this morning, and for the lovely resolution that you presented to me, and the kind words that you shared with the group. To everybody on the meeting tonight, thank you all so much for the years of support that you have given me, and the opportunity to work with all of you. Mr. Parlavecchio, I greatly appreciate the collegiality that you and I have been able to foster, to work together on behalf of the administration and the commissioner board. I think it's been a very productive time on the board the last 6.5 years, and it really was an honor to work with all of the commissioners, with you, Mr. McInerney, as well, and with the clerk of the board as well. So I'm gonna miss all of you. I can't say I'm gonna miss these meetings if I'm being completely honest, virtual or not, but I will certainly miss the time that I've spent with all of you and the opportunities that I've had to work with all of you. So thank you again, and thank you again for all of your kind words.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome.
Welcome.
Commissioner, I have one other piece of business, is a statement I'd like to read on Congress passing the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. On Monday, March 7th, 2022, we were all witnesses to a great day in the history of our nation. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act was passed by Congress and will be sent to President Biden's desk to be signed into law. The brutal killing of Emmett Till in 1955 was an unspeakable tragedy that galvanized the civil rights movement and challenged the soul of America. 65 years later, in 2020, we all witnessed the modern-day lynching of George Floyd. His senseless murder rekindled a call for justice in America and inspired a new generation to take to the streets and demand change. By passing the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, Congress made lynching a crime that can be prosecuted by the federal government and is punishable by up to 30 years in prison. As the language of the bill states, any conspiracy to commit a hate crime that results in death or serious bodily injury can be prosecuted by the federal government in all 50 states. The House of Representatives overwhelmingly approved the bill, and this past Monday, the Senate passed the bill unanimously. This was a great victory for justice and a great victory for America. On behalf of this board, I thank our legislators in Congress on both sides of the aisle and celebrate with the families of Emmett Till and George Floyd, as we can emphatically say that these two men whose murders became flashpoints in American history did not die in vain, nor did the countless other victims of racist violence. Thank you.
Well said, Mr. President, well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. Important day.
Excellent statement.
Thank you so much.
Long overdue.
Absolutely. Agreed. Agreed. If there's no other business, need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Bye, Courtney. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, Courtney.
Courtney, take care.
It won't be the same without you,
Good
Courtney.
evening, everybody.